for the most part, the focus from now on is going to be on the class of 2028 when it comes to recruiting. And we're starting to see some guys schedule their visits to Tennessee. Some 2028 prospects schedule their visits, blue chippers in particular, guys that have scheduled a few different, not a few different, but different visit dates from one another, I think is what I'm trying to say. So I will have content on all this stuff elsewhere on demand for whenever you would like it later on in the week. But there have been 3 names that have stuck out to me here to start this little trickling of visit plans from some of the major recruiting services. First one I got here, 4-star linebacker Shamar Evans. I believe he is top 10 at that position group from Ruston, Louisiana. So as you can imagine, LSU, a pretty major factor there. Funnily enough, he is visiting for Tennessee's game against LSU on November 21st.
Oh, good potential there.
He will be in the building for that game. He's got interest in multiple SEC programs. He's going to Texas for their game against Ohio State, going to Florida for their game against, I believe that's Ole Miss on September 26th, there to end the month of September. Going to Texas A&M the week after that. Also has a visit lined up to Auburn for October 24th, and he's going to Alabama for the Iron Bowl. Some non-SEC teams here, Georgia Tech, Florida State, SMU out of the ACC, and from the Big Ten, Michigan, and you already know who it is, Jordan.
Oh, the guys that love us to death. Love them some orange.
They
secretly wear it when their wife's not around. They're dressing and they're wearing their Tennessee jerseys, pulling it out of the basement.
Yes, but those are his interests right now. I know that's kind of a lot at this point, but you'd love to stay hot on the recruiting trail at linebacker because you've gotten 4 stars, top 10 guys in particular, the last few classes at that position, and you'd like to sustain that reign of dominance into 2028 if at all possible.
Well, Tennessee's definitely got more eyes on them now with all the recruits that they've been able to pull recently. I mean, David Gabriel George most notably, but I mean, even before that, TK Keys and Faison Brandon. I mean, Tennessee's kind of been on fire with recruiting recently, and I'm glad to know that Evans is going to be coming to the LSU game because he's not, I mean, that's arguably going to be the greatest atmosphere Tennessee's going to have the entire season. I think that in the Texas game, and then, of course, the Alabama game as well. I mean, the stadium's going to be rocking, and we all know what happened last time Lane Kiffin came into Knoxville. Not sure if history repeats itself, but if Tennessee can go out there and, you know, give a good licking to LSU, I mean, I'm glad that he could be in attendance because it's kind of hard to pull away those guys from Louisiana. I mean, I've spoken on the podcast before. I mean, if you're from Louisiana and you're not going to go to some of these other big schools that are trying to target you like Alabama or something like that, then I mean, why not go to LSU? But, you know, I think if Tennessee can pull them away more than a lot of these other schools, especially if Tennessee has a good game against LSU. So I'm excited to see what the outcome of that ends up being. Hopefully he starts to show a little bit more interest to the Vols.
Yeah, you would hope that's the case with this visit for Tennessee's game against LSU with Shamar Evans. 2 more that I had. Both of these guys are on the defensive end, actually. One of them does play defensive ends, and that is, I believe it's Cassell Crookshank is how you pronounce this guy's name. Cassell Crookshank, if I'm not mistaken. 4-star defensive end, number 5 defensive end in the class, number 1 player from North Carolina, from Fayetteville, so that's closer to the coast of North Carolina, but we know about Tennessee's prowess on the recruiting trail in that state. They'd love to try and get another one out of there if at all possible. Looking at his visit schedule, he's coming for the Auburn game, if I didn't mention that already. He will also visit Auburn at one point this season, South Carolina, which is not overly surprising. Geography is always going to be play a little bit of a role with them. Georgia, Oklahoma, a couple teams that are known for their defenses. Alabama, another one in there. Florida, Texas A&M, Texas. So some pretty heavy hitters in the SEC that he's going to this season. Outside of the SEC, only a couple that he's really considering in this visit list. One is Florida State, which, again, I shake my head.
Even have a coach by then.
Yeah, like I'm shaking my head just thinking about Florida State with all of these recruits right now. Like, and again, I don't want to dump on kids for committing somewhere because that feels mean. But like, what do people see in them right now that makes you go, I want to be there? Like, it can't be the money. They are in serious debt down there at Florida State. So, I don't know what that's all about. The other one outside of the SEC makes a lot of sense, though. That's Notre Dame. Notre Dame has done a very nice job, at least in the 2027 class. I think they've already gotten a defensive end for their 2028 class, if I'm not mistaken. Notre Dame has, and they recruit very well outside of state borders. Like, I don't believe any of their commits in the class of 2027 are from within state borders, which is awfully impressive considering how strong that class is. So, again, Crookshank would be a quality add to this team, obviously, with that positional ranking, but you're going to have to fight off some pretty serious competition if you want him.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Tennessee has a realistic shot there. I mean, it's funny Florida State's mentioned. I mean, I mean, there might be a huge exodus coming from their team if they end up losing their coach here in the next season or so. But I mean, Tennessee, I mean, if they need to get a defensive end bad, I mean, that's a desperate need for Tennessee moving forward. I mean, 4-star end here. I mean, good 6'6", 230. I mean, knowing Derek Owens probably beef him up to 270 before it's all said and done. I mean, hopefully Tennessee's got a realistic shot here. I mean, because Tennessee needs it pretty bad. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, out of the teams you've mentioned, I mean, I'd like to think that Tennessee has a shot, especially with their history in North Carolina in the past. I mean, some of Tennessee's greatest players have came from the state of North Carolina, like Heath Schuler comes to mind. And then more recently, Hendon Hooker, he came from North Carolina as well, right?
Yeah.
And then
soon
now
to be Faison Brandon.
Yeah, and then now Faison Brandon. I mean, I know those are all quarterbacks, but still, I mean, Tennessee's been able to pull some legitimate guys from that state.
David Sanders, James Pierce, a couple more recent examples.
I didn't know
Wright.
James Pierce was from there.
Yeah, Pierce is from somewhere in the Charlotte area, if I'm not mistaken. They've gotten a lot of guys from that state. It is a strong recruiting well if you can tap into it. And Tennessee has been fortunate enough that most of the out-of-state programs have not tapped into the way they have. I know there's one in particular that also wears orange in the upper left-hand corner of South Carolina that got into it for about 10 years. And, they're not tapping it as much as they used to just because they don't have nearly the strength that they once did. I am, of course, referring to Clemson in this whole discussion. So, but he will be in town for the Auburn game. Crookshank will. Final name I have for you guys. 4-star safety, Giovanni Tuggle. That's quite the name. He's not related to Nitro Tuggle, I don't believe.
Back-to-back good names here.
Yeah. But yes, Giovanni Tuggle, he is from, we need David here. It's either Winder or Winder, Georgia. One of the two. It's just outside of Atlanta, right in between Atlanta and Athens. I was looking on the maps earlier. Speaking of Athens, Georgia is somehow not involved in this recruitment, which is kind of odd. Well, they have offered him, so they are involved to some degree, but he's not visiting there, which I find kind of interesting. He will be in town for the game against Alabama, 3rd Saturday of October, so picked a pretty good weekend to come to Tennessee, if you ask me. Within the SEC, Texas A&M, who of course has done a tremendous job on the recruiting trail in this cycle. You've got Ole Miss on the visit list, who I'll be curious to see what they can do at some of the other positions. Like they've bulked up a lot around the line of scrimmage, both on offense and defense. Secondary, I haven't seen nearly as much about them this offseason. Florida and Clemson, for some reason, have had good off seasons as well on the recruiting trail. He's visiting both of those places. We'll also visit Alabama and LSU within the SEC. And then in the ACC, I mentioned Clemson just a second ago. Georgia Tech getting a visit. I would imagine proximity probably has something to do with that. Although Georgia Tech has been better on the recruiting trail lately than they have been. Generally not a program that recruits even within its own borders very well. And then Florida State is the other team that he's visiting. So, and Tennessee did miss out on a safety commit that was from the state of Georgia that ended up committing to Florida State. So maybe they have some pull there. I don't know, but would be very nice for Tennessee to get another 4-star safety in this, or a 4-star safety for a second year in a row, I should mention, because Marcus Jones was a good find this year, but it's not a position that this staff at Tennessee has recruited super well within its time here.
No, but I'm wondering if that's going to end up changing, because from everything that I've heard, Jim Knowles seems to love his safety play. And I feel like you've seen that quite a bit in the offseason, getting DeJuan Lane, getting TJ Metcalf. I mean, Tennessee likes their safeties, or at least now they do this year. And who knows? I mean, if Tennessee's able to put out a good performance this season, which, I don't want to get my hopes up too much yet, because we really haven't seen much good safety play from Tennessee, like since Eric Berry was there. Hopefully, Tennessee can put a good product on the field this year. But yeah, I mean, you want to get a guy that, I'm looking here right now, his composite ranking has him as the 4th ranked safety in the country. And, he's knocking on Tennessee's door being there in Georgia. And I feel like the fact that he's not shown a lot of interest to Georgia is a positive sign as well, because I don't know how much of a dog in the fight Georgia Tech has in this recruiting class. But if Tennessee can pull that off in the future, that'll be a pretty big get for them. And it'd be nice to see what Tennessee can be doing moving forward in the next couple of years with some of these guys that Jim Knowles is outright recruiting, not just some of his guys that he brought over or some of the players that have already been on Tennessee's roster. I want to see how some of these guys develop over time. And, Tuggle could be one of those guys. Maybe he comes in as a freshman. He spends time learning that complex defense that we've talked about earlier from Jim Knowles. If he ends up coming to Tennessee, I would imagine that he could probably be a pretty solid player, probably relatively